Together we can.
True.
Just that. Together we can. There is no way you can succeed alone. If you want to move very fast, move alone. But you want to move very far, move together with other people. That's it. That's what we have learned. And for those people, like Wazalendo, we had the CEO for Wazalendo. In his presentation, to date, Wazalendo is in trillions of money. That's their portfolio. So meaning that soldiers together have walked a journey of success. Exodus was there. They are in billions of money. Over 700 billion portfolio. Those are police officers who have moved together, and here they are. Other rural circles, Ebirungi Biryomututu Ebo was able to present. And others, there were so many parliamentary circles, there are so many. So Ugandans have learned that together, yes, we can.
Right.
Number two, Ugandans have learned that cooperatives are not for the poor and for those who don't speak English. I'm always careful. Because here when you say the elite and the illiterate, if you don't speak English, they think that you are not educated. That is wrong. Speaking English is not proof that you're educated. No. Me, I don't believe in that. So, people use it to think whenever you talk about cooperatives, those are for the poor people. Poor, those in the villages.
Right.
Not even understanding the meaning of the word poor.
The muntu wa wansi.
Yes, the muntu wa wansi. My mother, your mother in the village there. The farmers. Then those who cannot speak English. Those are cooperatives. But to date, Julie, cooperatives have professionals. The accountants are there, the engineers, the doctors, the medics, the media, all those are there, the farmers, they are all there. Which is a very big lesson to learn as a country. That for us to succeed, we need to cooperate. Because cooperation encourages love. The moment you love each other, you move together. Cooperation is about self-help. Julie, you have a problem, I come in and solve it. Tomorrow I have a problem, I know Julie will solve it for me. That is what cooperatives encourage. Working together, that passion for each other. So we have learned that.
Right.
Another lesson that we are learning is that there is a need for capacity building. People need education, training, and information. Like she was mentioning during the symposium, we had highly competent people who did the presentations. Dr. Muhumuza was the keynote speaker. And he brings in the economics and gives us the statistics globally, how other economies are doing, and doing it through cooperation. You go to Europe, you go to America, you go to Asia Pacific. Are you aware that in the 60s we were ahead of Asia? Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, we were ahead of them. There's one time I was in Korea, and the director for Korean Development Strategy, a professor, he told me, you people, in the 1960s we were there to learn how cooperatives are working. For us here, we had them, but they were limping. So, but when we came back, we have done it better. Now Korea is actually in the hands of cooperatives. So what happened to you? I couldn't even explain. So that is what we learn. We had Professor Mindra of Mubus, who is talking about cooperative education and how it can change economies. And people, everybody was listening. So you mean, you know, some people didn't know that you can study cooperatives from certificate to PhD. For them, they thought that you learn cooperatives 1 week training. No, cooperatives is wider. I want the viewers to hear me. You don't think that you are going to go to a workshop. I hear people talk about circles. He attended the 1-day training. Then he wants to be a guru in the cooperatives. No way. From certificate to PhD, studying cooperatives. Because it's wider. Even those principles you see, the 7 principles, one by one each is a topic on its own. For example, they talk about democratic member control. You must understand it in depth. What does it mean? You talk about the cooperative law. You must understand it. You talk about financial reporting in the cooperatives. Our people are using company accounts to report in the cooperatives. It is totally different. Totally different. A circle is a circle. A company is a company. A union like Kwabanyankole, which buys coffee, it does not buy coffee. With it, it aggregates members' coffee. Not buying. But you find someone, so-called accountant, is using the company accounts to portray sales, less cost of sales. No way. That's not in cooperatives.
Right.
Then we had other people like Dr. Peter, who presented on climate financing. Julie Ugandans didn't know that there is money, including myself. I have trees, so many trees, but I didn't know that there is money for that. If you are growing trees, they pay you so that you take care of your trees. I didn't know. And yet I can speak good English, but I didn't know.
Right.
So until the cooperators they were so happy that this fund is there in the Ministry of Water and Environment, in the Ministry of Finance, it is with the IFAD, with the Equity Bank, the fund is there, but we didn't know. So this is why Jack is saying we are very happy because we have learned such things. Then we also had Dr. Mutambi in the Ministry of Trade talking about business development. You know, some of these cooperatives, they are formed just to pick money. When you say there is free money here, very fast, 30 people, in one day, they are there. They form, they get money, it is dismantled, they go back to square one.
Right.
That's not a cooperative. Cooperative is not formed for begging. A cooperative is formed either to solve a particular problem or to tap into an opportunity. And the people must come together with an ideology. So he presented this and showed how cooperatives should do business and how they should think business and how they should penetrate the market, value addition, all of that. So people were, this is how things are done.
It was eye-opening.
Yes. So this is what we learned, either during a symposium or throughout. Then we have also learned as cooperatives that that money is here. You don't need to look for money outside. There's money here. What is the evidence? Look at what circles have done. Mobilizing little money from the citizens, and you are able to form a giant, which is a circle like Wazalenda and others. So there is money here. What we have also learned here is that we can actually start making money as Ugandans.
Right.
How? We are coffee farmers, for example. We can sit together, form our cooperative. Tomorrow, we start adding value to our coffee here.
Indeed. And as you can see...
And then we are able to make money.
Right.
So we have learned a lot of lessons, I want to tell you. And she talked about the Interreligious Council. When we are having prayers, and they were taking us through, Julie, I learned that cooperatives did not start today. Cooperatives started with the creation story.
Right.
When God is creating man, he says, let us create.
Right.
That statement alone is cooperation.
Yes.
It means that he's not alone.
Yes.
And he believes in a cooperative.
And just to cut you,
get me?
Just to cut you short for a second, I'd love to update and bring our viewer up to speed. What we are looking at on the screen, on your screen, is the events that transpired at Fort Portal City on the International Day of Cooperatives. You can see the color. Indeed, you can tell that it had rained, but as Jacqueline said, the rain was such a blessing. You see the color of dance troops with the cultural dance. You see the color of exhibitors, the color of different organizations with their teardrops at display, the color of many cooperators in the garb. I can see Ivan, CPA Ivan there. You see the display of exhibitors. Very colorful event it was indeed. You can tell. For one who wasn't there, you can tell that it's color that you missed out on in there. It was on the 5th day of July, last Saturday. It transpired, but it had taken months and months of preparation and a whole week, starting from the media center, a symposium in Fort Portal City where keynote speakers spoke a lot of what CPA Ivan has shared, and indeed marked and closed with the major celebration on 5th July on Saturday. That is last Saturday. And coming back to studio, indeed, if you're just joining us, we are still looking at the aftermath of the celebration of the International Day of Cooperatives. And really what we're looking at are the lessons, the achievements, but also the roadmap thereafter. And in studio with us to do that is CPA Ivan Asimwe, who is the General Secretary of Uganda Cooperatives Alliance, as well as Jacqueline Ariho Zawede, who is the communications manager at the Uganda Cooperatives Alliance. Now you have to be in on this conversation. 0709-602-592. It's a WhatsApp number that you should engage, especially whilst we are still on air. I noticed that quite many times you engage while the show is ending, and it doesn't give us an opportunity to engage your opinions or your questions. So do that now, whilst we still have some time on us, so that the two representatives from the UCA are able to answer your questions. Now, yes, Ivan, you are still painting for us a picture of the more lessons that are being picked from Uganda's cooperative movement.
Thank you so much. So I had, in fact, now I don't want to say that I preach,
yes,
but I know the Bible.
Okay.
Now, so you see how cooperatives started with the story of creation, the book of Genesis. We go ahead, look at Jesus. Jesus realized that you could not succeed if he was alone. He comes up with a team of 12 disciples. So they form a cooperative. Don't ask me the name. They form a cooperative, and together 13 people. You see what has happened.
Right.
Religion is all over. The gospel is still here today. Meaning that if you are talking about inclusivity and sustainability, it is the cooperative model. Jesus is the best example. You go to the story of Exodus. I think it is Exodus. When the disciples, the Israelites are going back from Egypt, from captivity. And Moses and Joshua are able to cooperate. I think you know this, Julie. They are able to cooperate and defeat their enemies. That is cooperation. There are so many stories. Still in Genesis, God realizes that he has created a man called Adam, but Adam could not survive without cooperation, and creates a woman, a very beautiful woman like Julie. Now creates that woman and says, together you cooperate and co-create. So you see, cooperatives, when we are talking about cooperatives here, you people, we are not talking about something that started today.
Right. And
these are lessons to learn. If we can learn from the Bible and see what has been transpiring. You see, just take an example of our president, where 27 people cooperate, and where are they today? They captured power, the power of cooperation. But had they not cooperated, they wouldn't have succeeded. So in other words, cooperatives are there for us. This is what we learn from cooperation.
Right.
So, but I'm really so happy, and it is very good that we have shown out that. General Mbadi, want to thank him because he ably represented the president. Our Minister of State for Cooperatives, Honorable Gume, was also there. The entire Ministry of Trade was there. All cooperators were there. People exhibited their products. Cooperators have products there.
Right.
So everything went on very well. We are blessed with rainfall. Why? We represent farmers. So that day, God blessed it.
Wow.
Yes.
What a point to take note of and relate it indeed with what the cooperative movement is all about. Let me come to you, Jacqueline. How do you think the global cooperative movement has influenced Uganda's cooperative movement?
You see, Julie, I think there's a lot to benchmark from, especially here in Uganda. The way we organized this, I didn't get to see how other, countries did theirs, for example, Kenya or Tanzania. But I want to imagine that we surpassed as Uganda. And there's a lot to learn from us. There's a lot to learn from one another. Like CPA Ivan has said, with cooperatives, with cooperating, you get to learn from one another. If there's something good that has happened in Kenya, if there's something good that has happened in Uganda, in Tanzania or in South Africa, we get to learn from them. For example, in Kenya, they started their cooperative education way back in 1960-something. 67. In Tanzania, they've already started their cooperative bank.
1963.
When you go to South Africa, they already have their cooperative bank.
Right.
Now for us, we are also, you know, they are just baby strides, but they are catching up. I'm telling you, the other week, before we went for the cooperative day, celebrating the International Day of Cooperatives, we made sure that we have a baby that we can go showing everyone, and this was our cooperative bank. I'm telling you, people have mobilized capital. You know, we started as tier 4 because we did not yet have the capital. But people want now to embrace it into something that is actually beyond and bigger. When you come to, like I told you the other time, a commercial bank, you need over 50 billion shillings or even 250 to start a commercial bank. I'm telling you, where cooperators are going, they are actually injecting capital into this newly formed baby. And we are going to surpass even the billions they are talking about because of the love, because of the what? Because of that unity, because we have one common understanding of why we need this cooperative model to move ahead. So when you talk about Korea, when you talk about Singapore, when you talk about other global areas, Germany, that have embraced cooperatives, things are moving swiftly for them. Right. So that is why we also want to appeal to government. Please, put more funding into the cooperative activities, into the cooperative model. Bring funds into UCA. So that for us, because for us we are here to make sure that this model moves on and even ahead. We are here to make it visible. I'm telling you, the objective, one of the objectives why we went for the International Day of Cooperatives was to make this cooperative model visible and, you know, to elucidate what it is about. People kept asking us prior that what is it about cooperatives? You see, CPA Ivan has said that most people thought that it was for the Muntua Wansi, but right now we are seeing professionals. We are seeing the teachers, we are seeing bankers, lawyers, and so on come into circles. The other day I was even very surprised to know that NITA-U has a fully fledged, even here UBC, you people, you have a fully fledged circle that is running. Go to NGOs like World Vision. They are very many because they are in numbers. They have set up a whole, it is actually now an MDI, but it became as a what? It started as a circle. You get it? So people are now understanding, they are getting to be aware that actually there's a model that can work. And how are they doing this? Because we are benchmarking from the global arena. Now, I wanted to say something about the activities that we did prior. Some activities that we can also now take to other countries to benchmark from. Because for us, we have made it that it is a whole week towards the International Day of Cooperatives. We do not know how it happens in Kenya. But I'm telling you, we were able to collect blood, over 5,000 units of blood. Our target was just 1,000, but we surpassed it. I'm telling you, people came because of that community concern, because of the cooperative spirit. People came and they were able to donate blood in the entire region. This was showcased everywhere. The minister launched it in Jinja, but it became an outburst. Talk about tree planting. CPA Ivan has been talking about the climate funding. But now, how are we going to be able to manage our climate when we are cutting the trees? So our call was for cooperatives to come and plant trees. I'm telling you, we planted over 1 million trees in just that 1 week. 1 million trees.
Oh, by the way, did you get the winner?
Oh, we got the win. Rotarian George William Okotha.
Wow.
Yes, and he was very happy. I'm telling you, people planted trees. People heed to our call, and they went and planted trees in droves. And this shows the spirit of cooperatives. Now, when you compare this to other global, countries, to other global areas, people are doing the same. Go to Germany. Go to a country like Saudi Arabia. This is a desert country. But everywhere you go, you see greenery in the country, because for them they have said, we shall not talk about the desert. We shall not be in that desert. We shall make our desert green. And they have come together as people. No one can work as one person. No one can work in silos. This is supposed to be cooperatives, and that is how it is going to be able to give us the development we want.
Wow, a very beautiful perspective built there by Jacqueline. And to engage a couple of your comments, hello, good morning. Can I talk with you, sir? This is Margaret Mwanguzi. He will be sharing how best you can reach out to him. Hi, I'm Enoch. Thank you for the show. I have over 20 acres of trees, but still growing. How do I get funds? And that will be answered as well. And in fact, let's engage it before it passes by. Ivan.
Oh, thank you
Please
so
do
much.
answer,
I want to thank you, Enoch. Yes, like we have mentioned, even ourselves we didn't know. So the funding is there in the Ministry of Finance, in the Ministry of Water and Environment, in Equity Bank. So it is there. What you, Enoch, can do, get in touch with Uganda Cooperative Alliance. We in fact want to have a partnership meeting with these three bodies so that we see how cooperators can access this money.
Right.
But the fund is there, so Enoch, get in touch with us. We shall really see how to help you.
Right,
Yes.
and another comment comes in from Isaac Wanzala Aizo in West Nile. He says, can a man be infertile? Are we talking about the same thing? Okay, you're right, Isaac, I get you now. You say that it's me, Isaac Wanzala, in West Nile, and you say, where can I seek assistance apart from within that circle itself in case I want to report or ask improvement as me as a member in my cooperative circle? In simple terms, the overall holder of those cooperatives, if it's there, I would wish the telephone contact, toll-free line, or be aired out. All right, indeed, the team will be sharing the contacts of how best to get in touch with UCA and how to be guided. But staying with you, Ivan, and looking at...
So for the case of Isaac,
Yes,
in the case
please.
you have any issue in a registered cooperative, we have structures.
All right.
There is the district commercial officer at your district. You go there and report this matter, and the district commercial officer will help you. If the district commercial officer cannot help, then you can contact Uganda Cooperative Alliance. We have a regional office in Lira.
All right.
And we also have the board members who are from that side. Madame Oroma Emanuela, she's in Nebi. There's also Mr. Raro Bernard, who is in Zombo, the chairman of Okorokofi. But still, he can contact us, even at head office, Uganda Cooperative Alliance. He can contact the office of the registrar of cooperative societies.
Right.
We are all there to solve whatever challenge is there. And if it is a dispute, still we shall guide you on how that dispute can be handled using the laws of this country.
Right.
So we are there.
Is it possible to also answer Margaret Mwanguzi, who said that she wanted to talk with you?
Yes. Margaret, you are very much welcome. Uganda Cooperative Alliance is open. It's on Nkuruma Road,
Right.
Road 4749. You come and we discuss. Still, we can share our contacts. Mine, it may be Jackie, because Jackie is the communications officer.
Right.
In the case of anything, her lines are always open, even at night, but not late in the night. So, but she can share her contacts,
Right.
and then Margaret, directly, even after the studio, you can call, and then we can see how best
Right.
we can really handle your issue in case it is there.
All right, and one final one from Ivan, who I think won an award at the Fort Portal event. He says, Ivan and Jackie in studio, let's use the knowledge we have to make sure that we have our cooperative bank in Uganda. This is Nyakahuma Charles, actually he's called Charles Nyakahuma, award winner, Fort Portal.
Oh.
Thank you, Charles, for being on the show. Now, let me still stay with you, Ivan, and looking at the past decade, as it had, this decade has had major events like COVID-19. Now, in your perspective, what did this event of COVID-19 that was so novel and new to everyone, what lessons do you think it taught us about the resilience and innovation, but in line with the cooperative movement?
Oh, thank you so much. Before I come to that, I just want to thank Nyakahuma for winning the award.
Oh, yes.
And secondly, we are there together. Let's move the journey together. The issue of the cooperative bank, the bank has already been formed. It is already there.
Right.
So if you're a cooperative, kindly what we want is a financial commitment. The form is going to be online. You can download it and then you fill. And then secondly, we need a board resolution. Because for you to buy any shares in the cooperative bank, the board must resolve. So those are the things that are needed. But the bank, Mr. Charles, is already there.
Right.
Now, what do we learn from COVID? COVID taught us a lesson that actually something even worse than COVID can come.
Happen.
So meaning that you need to be prepared. All the time we must be prepared. And what we learned from there is the power of cooperation. You know, had we not cooperated, I tell you, wouldn't have succeeded. Because during this time, do you know that people who had saved their money in these circles, they were able to survive? Because much as the circles were not working, but some of them adopted digital systems. In fact, do you know, most of the circles were able to digitize because of COVID. They were still in bed thinking as it was, it is now, and ever shall be. But things had to change. Yes. Now you are there, you are stuck. You can't open for customers. You can't do what? But people need their money. What do? Right. They had to digitize. And then with that system, people would withdraw their money using their phones. You know, COVID was bad, but on the other side, it taught us a lesson for us to think ahead. So, digitization. True. That is something better. Then people learn to save. That actually, if you don't save today, you cannot tell what will come tomorrow. So they learn to save. You even hear today, people running to save. I don't want to have a challenge that I had in the COVID. Let me save. Right. In the case of anything, I can buy posho and beans and put in my house. So we learned the lesson. Then the other lesson we learned was love coming together. You know, before COVID, people could not have time for each other. Like a man, every morning you just wake up and go, the woman is same, children are here. So we learned to stay together. And I hear you had a lot of domestic violence because people were not used to looking at each other face to face every day. When you start looking at each other, that's when you know that the other one is ugly. And then you start those quarrels. So these are lessons that we learned. But in the context of cooperatives, we learned how to save. Yes. Cooperatives very fast digitized in order for them to keep afloat. And then even value addition. People learned to add value on these products. Because like an agricultural cooperative, they would just store maize and then sell. But immediately, because of COVID, they could not sell anywhere. They now acquired machinery and started processing because there was need for food and there was no food. So we learned to be resilient. So that is exactly what we learned from this COVID. But I pray it doesn't come. However, I want to challenge cooperators. Let us always plan ahead. Right. Because you don't know, you can't tell the future. Yes. Indeed. Thank you, Ivan, for that. Now, Mule Godfrey, you come through with a question on inclusivity, and yours is we have a Village Saving and Loans Association groups, and you're asking, are they inclusive, I think? And you say that 30 members each group. Ivan, could you speak into that? Thank you so much. Godfrey, a VSLA is a Village Savings and Loan Association. It is not a circle. Right. No, it's not a registered cooperative society. And I would want to encourage Godfrey that for purposes of this VSLA attaining a corporate identity and a corporate image, then you better try and register it as a circle with the registrar of cooperatives. Because I don't want us to continue relying on these. Yes, they are good, they are helping people. But in terms of the legal personality, they are not legally recognized as legal entities in the eyes of law. So it is better that you register them. So this is the encouragement I would give you. But maybe I just want to run through this. Julie, what lessons do we learn? We have covered that one. Then going forward, in our presentation, the chairman of Uganda Cooperative Alliance made a presentation on behalf of the cooperators. And we made prayers as cooperators. Much as we are very happy, much as we are moving forward, but this is what we feel should be done for us to move ahead. Number one, we really request the government of Uganda to address the challenge of the legal, regulatory, and policy framework for cooperatives. And here specifically, we are emphasizing the legal lacuna on circles, whereby bigger circles are supposed to go to Bank of Uganda, then the other circles go to Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, then by amending the Cooperative Societies Act, other circles are supposed to come back to the registrar. So we are very clear and we are asking government, our good government, let us amend and harmonize all of these 3 laws. The MDI Act 2003, the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act 2016, and the amended Cooperative Societies Act Cap 107 of 2020. Harmonize all of these as guided by the Attorney General, so that SACCOs have a single law and a single regulator, like it is in Kenya under SACIRA, the SACCO Regulatory Authority. Number 2, we are also requesting government to support and promote cooperative education in this country. Like Madam Jackie mentioned, Kenyans started cooperative education in 1967. That's when the Kenya Cooperative College was established. In Tanzania, 5th of January 1963, they established Moshi Cooperative College. But now Moshi is offering PhDs in cooperatives the same as Kenya, the Cooperative University of Kenya. But in Uganda, we started much earlier than Kenya and Tanzania, because we started in 1954 cooperative education at Nsamizi, which later went to Chigumba, to Bukarasa in 1963. Then in 1974, the college was transferred to Chigumba. But from that time to date, the 2 colleges now, we have Tororo and Chigumba, they are still offering certificates and diplomas in cooperative education. Now my question is, the graduates of these 2 cooperative colleges, where do they go? So it means that we lose them. Because after diploma, and you cannot progress to bachelor's, master's, and PhD, you end up in other programs. And you have wasted resources as government. So we are saying, let's government upgrade these 2 colleges into universities or degree awarding institutions. But we are very closely working with the Moshi University, UCA, and Makerere University. And soon we shall have cooperative education at bachelor's, master's, and PhDs. We want professors, we want doctors in cooperatives.
Indeed.
Another prayer that we are looking at is supporting the commercial officers. Because the commercial officers are doing a lot of work at the district level. However, they lack enough facilitation. They are not facilitated. They also need capacity building. So we requested the government kindly support these people, streamline their structures, give them enough facilitation, give them enough training. And on top of that, make it mandatory that whoever is to work in these cooperatives should undergo cooperative training, like it was in the 60s and early 70s. Another prayer of ours is the issue of funding. Justin mentioned it. Jackie, we want government to increase budget for cooperatives. Yes, we are so happy that the government is putting over 1.1 trillion per year in PDM. But we are requesting government, yes, thank you so much for this, but we need a lot of money in capacity building, in law and advocacy, in arbitration and other areas, so that these PDM circles, Emyoga circles, and the other cooperatives are strengthened. We also need a lot of funding to the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, because this is the mother ministry. It does a lot of work, and in fact it is the focal ministry, but it has less funding. So if we can have increased funding, then the better.
Now let me come to Jackie, and I would ask you the lessons, and this is in regards to inclusivity, especially looking at the role women and youth play. What lessons do you think over the time, especially in recent years, the role of women and youth have proved in being a part of cooperatives in Uganda?
Thank you so much, Julie. Actually, we had this conversation some time back, and we said, and this has actually, it was also one of the conversations at the International Day of Cooperatives. And we saw very many women. I mean, you've been seeing this video where the women were exhibiting their merchandise, their products, their services. Women have come in to take up leadership roles in these cooperatives. They are fully fledged women-led circles or cooperative societies. There's a cooperative society in Luweru that actually picks women or girls that have dropped out of school. They pick them up and then they train them into tailoring. This has become so huge. When you talk about inclusivity, I always refer to this cooperative society for people who are living with disabilities. They are graduates living with disabilities, but they formed their own circle. So that means that they are being inclusive in all their undertakings.
Right.
When you talk about the youth have come up. There's a circle that has actually come up to innovate. There's a lot of innovation in terms of digitization.
Right.
And these are youth. They are innovating, they are digitizing their circles, and people are tapping into them. Other cooperatives are coming to tap into this digitization because youth are always innovative. And we want this kind of blood into the cooperative union, into the cooperative development and model. Now, when you talk about other, global players in this cooperative world, you see that women have come up. Women have become leaders. Women have become, the thinkers.
Right.
They are the thought processes in terms of governance, in terms of leadership. They are taking up financial skills, they are taking up all these kinds of skills, and they are now putting them into the cooperative model.
Right.
So this is why we want them to come up fully. Now, when you talk about the going ahead, now what do we envisage in the aftermath
Yes.
of the International Day of Cooperatives? You see, one day wasn't enough for us. Let's say just 2 days were not enough.
Right.
Because people were interested. If we could even have done it for an entire week, we would not exhaust everything to converse or to speak about cooperatives. We
Right.
wouldn't exhaust it all. So that is why now we are saying that we now have a national conference on cooperatives that we are organizing, and it's going to now happen in September. And this is now we are going to talk about the strategic, what strategies have we come up in terms of developing our cooperatives? What kind of, because we want to write a paper that is going to go through Parliament up to State House.
Right.
To look at all these challenges that CPA Ivan has been talking about. The commercial officers, what are their roles? How do we distinguish their roles in terms of trade and industry vis-a-vis cooperatives? Why are they being left behind when it comes to cooperatives?
Right.
Somebody talked about the VSLA. Why is it that there's still that kind of disintegration between a VSLA and a SACCO?
Yeah.
What are the benefits of a SACCO? We want to now to go into those nitty-gritties when it comes to that National Conference of Cooperatives. We want to understand, where does a SACCO go to get registered? People still do not know. Where does the VSLA go to get what? To get the registration.
Right.
How do you distinguish between the two? What are the benefits? CPA Ivan has been talking about this, the arbitration. I keep saying that as a VSLA or as any other kind of saving group, you will not get the benefits that a SACCO gets. If in case of issues to do with disputes, you're not going to be able to be listened to unless you're through the legal way of registering your cooperative. When it comes to saving, you're not going to be able to protect your money that you've saved when you're still in a very, unknown saving group out there.
Right.
And there will not be, you will not be understood what your undertakings are. But when you're legally registered as a SACCO, there's a lot to benefit from.
Right.
So these are things that we want to, to elucidate. They are the things that we want to bring out in the open. And we are going to have people as big as the governor of Bank of Uganda come to tell us about, the minister or the Minister of Finance. I understand there's a fully fledged finance department on climate in the finance ministry,
Yes.
in the Ministry of Finance. Someone was asking about how they can access this climate fund. Yeah, someone was asking, they have huge plots and huge acres of trees that they are looking at, but they don't have this kind of climate financing. These are things that now we are going to even speak more into the cooperative development world on that day. So now we are preparing. Now the preparation now starts once again. That is why you see, Julie, we are not going to sleep. However much we are tired, this excites us. And there's no room for us to sleep, because we want to bring this to the awareness of every stakeholder, of our duty bearers, the parliamentarians, of the government up to the central government to understand that indeed this is the model to take in order for us to develop. Indeed,
and I will stay with you, Jacqueline, and thank you so much for updating us on the National Conference of Cooperatives that is happening in September, another event for you to look forward to. But there is a question that I think I will pose it to you, Jacqueline. Hello, thank you for the show. How prepared is the UCA to protect Uganda cooperative colleges that train cooperators from closing? The government is shifting attention to science and technology. This is a lecturer that is asking this. Okay, Ivan, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Judy. And this is called?
He did not leave his name, but he's a lecturer.
Okay, fine. The lecturer who has raised this issue.
Right.
Section 33 of the Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 107, says that the Board of Uganda Cooperative Alliance shall engage government on matters of policy relating to the cooperative movement. So based on this, we shall engage government, and we continue to engage government. Like these issues that I've mentioned, we are engaging government. And I'm very happy because government is very responsive. Whenever we engage government, government listens because they love cooperatives.
Right.
So on this issue, we have engaged them and we are moving forward. And I want to give him an assurance that the government cannot close these colleges because the numbers are increasing for cooperatives, because currently we are over 46,000 registered cooperatives with 18 million members. So these are many people. Instead, we are now engaging government, like I've mentioned, to upgrade these colleges and also renovate them and put them to standard. Another issue we are engaging government is the issue of taxation. We are so grateful with government. They gave SACCOs tax exemption.
Right.
And for 10 years, which is expiring in 2027. And they also gave a tax waiver of all tax areas. But we are now requesting government to kindly extend this exemption so that these young SACCOs, PDM and Emyoga, can benefit and really take this country forward. We are also engaging government on value addition.
Right.
We are so grateful with government. They constructed the agro-processing facilities across the country under different programs. CAIP, ACDP, and others. So the facilities are there. So we are saying government, now that the facilities are there, support UCA, support the ministry. We do mobilization and sensitization of all these farmers so that they are able to bring their produce to these stores. They add value, like the president has always mentioned.
Right.
We add value and export finished products. So these are areas that we engage in government. Last year on the national conference, it will be there in September, and most of these issues will be discussed during that conference, and we expect His Excellency the President to come and to preside over this conference. Otherwise, we thank UBC, we thank everybody.
Thank you very much, CPA Ivan. Coming to you, Jacqueline, and as we begin to bring this to a close now, many questions are coming in, and many are in regards to asking about their VSLAs. Many are in questions of SACCOs. One here says that they are approached by thieves who come to steal their money, promising them to develop more and even make their cooperatives progress with access to the president's hand. Clearly, issues like this can only be answered by the UCA, where there is a lot of time and attention given so that you are filled to the maximum. Jackie, share contacts of how best the UCA can be approached.
Yes, before I share the contacts, like I've already said, thieves will come. Not only thieves, rats will come and take your money away. Yeah. If you do not have that governance within you. You see, with a SACCO, you are really, you have a fully fledged AG, you know, a board.
Yes.
And you even sit on an AGM. You get it? And these governance issues, that someone will come and take away your money. Sometimes it's even within the SACCO itself. It will be done away with. It will be dealt away with.
Right.
These things that they are thieves and all, like CPA Ivan said, there are SACCOs like now Wazalendo that are boasting of over trillions in dividends, in assets and so on. tell me that kind of circle, that kind of arrangement, how a thief can come, because the security becomes now very, you know, very strong.
Yes.
The security is strong. They put all that digitization in play, but now your little VSLA, it will not even be digitized in a way. You will not have all these things installed to make sure that there's security. So that is why you need now to move away from just this small thing to now become something that is fully fledged into a circle, into a cooperative. With a VSLA, you might not benefit from the skills, the financial skills, the security skills, the capacity building, and yet with a circle, you can actually benefit from all that. And that is why now I give you my number.
Right.
It is 0776 3122 50.
Right.
0776 312250. And in future, we will have a toll-free line where you can get to us free of charge. And because now we are mandated to do arbitration, dispel disputes, and most of those things, those issues that come into your circles and your cooperatives. So when we have the toll-free line, in the nearby future, you can be able to bring it to our attention, and we shall have the solutions for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you've saved that number, because you know you need it, and time is never the best friend that we have. This conversation could go on and on and on, but that's it from today's edition of Good Morning Uganda. GMU Extra with Robert Kiravo Nyonyintono is up next, so stick around to be inspired every single day. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.